Alright, so this is just a quick overview of the tire trailer I put together. So it's on a Harbor Freight 40 by 48 inch chassis, painted blue and matte black in an attempt to match the car somewhat. It's not quite the right blue, but whatever. And then all I did was I got some 3/4 inch plywood, cut that out to make a floor for the trailer, painted it black. And then I bolted 2 toolboxes onto the trailer. This smaller one, I figured I'd keep all the fluids kind of separated in case they leaked or so they didn't stink everything up. So that's just a box full of all kinds of fluids and things. And then this is the main box that pretty much has everything else. So jack stands, a jack, my lunch box thing. I'll fill that with ice when I go somewhere. Some tools, other tools. Water sprayer for the wheels, folding chair, etc. So all the other stuff you might bring with you when you're going to an autocross or whatnot. And then on the back here are the tires. And one thing I did was I bought 4 sets of wheel chocks to make kind of like a makeshift kind of mount for the wheels. So these are cool. They actually hold the tires just slightly above the surface of the trailer itself. And then they're just held down by 3 ratchet straps. I got one across the top, just kind of holding all the wheels together, and then one around the bottom pulling them this way, and one pulling them forward. I edited some little clips there to kind of hold them in place. And this is, I could shake this all day long. It just, these don't move at all, pretty much. So it's about as solid as you can get. And then I replaced the lights on the trailer with LEDs. One thing that's worth pointing out is that Harbor Freight's engineers apparently don't understand how electricity works, because what they'll have you do is they'll have you, when you wire up the trailer, they'll have you put the ground and just screw it in here, and then let the current kind of flow through the trailer chassis to the rest of the lights. They'll have you ground this light here, and they'll have you ground this light here, etc. And in theory, that's fine for a trailer that's been like welded together and then painted afterwards. But this, is a do-it-yourself trailer, so it comes in pieces. They're all pre-painted, so when you screw them all together, there's no way for the electricity to go from here to here and from here to here, because there's like 2 layers of paint in between. Maybe if you sanded down all the areas between the bolts, maybe, but for example, and this is a good example here, when you put this bolt through, it's also going through some plywood. So there's no real good way for electricity to go between the various parts of the trailer. So basically, it won't work, and it didn't. I wasn't really paying attention when I first put it together, but it didn't work. So I ended up rewiring it and running the ground to all the wires. So I would suggest you do that yourself if you're going to be doing one of these. And then what I did was I added some weights underneath here, if you can see, some 25-pound exercise weights, just to kind of counterbalance the trailer, and also to add a little bit of weight, because this trailer is rated at about 1,000 pounds payload, which is cool, but this is not 1,000 pounds on here. This is maybe like 200 or 300 pounds worth of stuff. So that means the trailer is really, really tightly sprung, which isn't so much an issue on the highway, but around town, it tends to bounce around a lot. So that was I added some weight in the back to kind of help calm it down, and in turn that actually helped also with the tongue weight on the trailer, which is only 48 pounds, which is great. So that's less than half of what the hitch is actually rated for. Makes it easy to pick the trailer up by hand and move it around, so that's great. As far as how the trailer actually feels when it's behind the car, you can't tell there's a trailer behind the car most of the time. I wasn't sure what to expect with this car. It's obviously not meant for towing anything. And a lot of people, the first thing they say is, you tow a trailer with this car? Like, what are you, crazy? To be honest, most of the time you don't know the trailer's there. It doesn't even block your vision very much. You can see it, but you don't actually, you can see over the trailer too, so you can see all the traffic behind you, so it doesn't get in the way. And for the most part, you can't actually tell that the trailer is behind you. The only times you notice it are when you're accelerating onto the highway. You can tell that the trailer is maybe a little bit, or the car is accelerating a little bit more sluggishly. But it's not like you have to put your foot down and you struggle to get up to speed. It's not like that at all. You can just kind of tell, oh yeah, I've got a couple extra 100 pounds that the car's pulling. But other than that, around town, I swear you pretty much don't notice the trailer is there at all. And yeah, and when you're on the highway, I was doing 70, 75 the other day. You don't even notice. You don't really have to use the throttle that much more. I wasn't sure how much drag this thing would create, but I guess the turbulence between here and here is enough that it doesn't really affect it too much. So overall, it's been a great experience. It's easy to tow around. Backing it up is a little bit of a pain. You know, I've backed up 60-foot articulated buses before, and that's way easier. These ambulances go by. But this thing is so short that you know, it takes a little bit of practice, so I'm still working on that. But overall, it works great.